Well, we're back at it again, we are. Cowboy Cures Part 2. Getting better, but also staying better, Mother Nature's remedies. I don't know what you're thinking there, what we're going to cook with that stuff we are. Folks, right there is some of the greatest remedies and stuff that has been tried and tested for years. Now, being a chuck wagon cook for over 30 years and being out in some of the most remote, rough country at times, you had to figure out ways that you could take care of people with what you had on hand. And some of this stuff has been tried and tested for hundreds of years, so we know it works. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you right off, there's a disclaimer. I am not a doctor. Shannon has told me that many times when I'm trying to doctor on her. But folks, this stuff has worked for me. It is natural, and you got it readily accessible. But let's just get right into it. You know, a lot of times on a ranch, and y'all have seen me even on cooking shows, old Ken will have a knife, he'll cut his finger. It happens to me, I'd say at least 3 times a week on a wagon. Maybe I'm not careful, I don't know, maybe I'm busy, but the knife is always sharp and it gets it done. And speaking of the knife, we ain't got one. A lot of time you'll see people say, boy, I wish I had some hydrogen peroxide. Wish I had something that could clean that wound. Well, I'm just gonna tell you right now, I got one right here. I'm not telling you this isn't gonna burn, but folks, when you squeeze that on there, it is going to be like an antiseptic. It is going to clean that citrus that's in there, and that vitamin C is going to also really start to promote healing already. But I don't want you to cover it, and I don't want you to leave it. I just want you to use it as an antiseptic to clean that wound. A thing that happens every time that I'm cooking, especially on a ranch, is I grab a hot skillet and it burns my hand. Uh-oh, and the wind is blowing. Do I have a cure for the wind blowing? I wished I did, folks. Me and Shan get tired of it, we do.
What is it blowing right now?
I'd say the wind is probably blowing about 30 miles sustained with some gusts to 40 or 45. But hey, if y'all have watched our channel long enough, you know that Mother Nature is usually always in control. Stay. But burning yourself, really, a lot of people automatically think, oh, put some ice on it. Well, folks, I really think that's the worst thing that you can do when you burn yourself, is to get an ice cube and put on there, because really you're sort of inducing a steam effect that's going to really just make that burn intensify. So what I really like to use is a tater. Grate a potato, squeeze the juice out of it. That starch will help draw out that burn, and it will help it heal quicker. If I had a burn like in the palm of my hand, I would just pour that on there, rub it in really well, and then I would just wrap it with a piece of plastic wrap and then cover it with a towel. That's going to help that absorb in there even quicker. Let's talk about if you get a burn like in your eyes, and I'm talking about either a burn from extreme sunlight or a welder or maybe even a cutting torch. Now, what I do for that is take you a good rag. If the wind will let us, it may not. Take some of that tater, go ahead and grate. Now you can see, just like before, there's going to be a lot of juice in here, and just keep mashing it around in that towel. And then you would just roll this towel up, and you can see the wet part of it, and you would just stick it right here. Just hold it on them eyes, let that juice get in there, because folks, that starch in there is going to help take that burn out. Now, I know it's 39 degrees, the wind chill is like minus, I don't know, but it's cold, and probably not going to get sunburn today. But folks, also a thing that works very well for a sunburn, and that is what? A tomato. Slicer. Now, you got sunburn, take this and just rub it wherever that sunburn is. Leave it on there about 5 minutes and then rinse it off. The acid that is in here is friendly. It's not going to burn you, but it's going to help with the amount of potassium in here that's going to help cure that sunburn a whole lot quicker. Now, a lot of y'all know this because y'all prayed for me, and we thank you so much for that. Back when I had a heart ablation, and the doctor told me, he said, what's your blood pressure after this? You know, well, I was on blood pressure medicine at one time. And folks, again, I'm not telling you to do this. I'm just telling you this worked for me, and consult your doctor before you quit any kind of medicine that he's got you on. But I wanted to have a more natural thing to try to get off all medicine that I could. So I went to thinking about what is something that I have readily available to me that is going to help lower blood pressure. And a thing that does it, folks, is lemon. Every morning when you get up, you take that lemon, roll it on the table, squeeze it really good, get all the juice out of that, mix it with a cup full of warm water. Not only is this going to help lower your blood pressure, but this is going to also cleanse your liver. And something that has really helped me more than anything keep my blood pressure where it needs to be is organic beet juice. Now, I get it off Amazon, and Shane can have you a link down there where you can find it. But folks, I drink about probably close to a half to 3/4 of a cup every day. It's good for circulation, but also it will help lower your blood pressure. And I do it every morning. I do 1 garlic clove and a tablespoon of honey. Also helps lower your blood pressure even more, but is also good for your liver and a great antibiotic for anything that's coming on. Well, folks, one thing that rarely happens to my customers out there when I'm cooking for Cowboys is malnutrition, but one thing that does, because we use a lot of peppers and onions and everything else, is someone will say, "Ooh, Cookie, that's a little spicy. I do have me some indigestion." Well, indigestion and heartburn really is two things that you can cure with 2 simple ingredients. It really is. One is baking soda. Read this label and mix the appropriate amount with warm water, stir it up, drink it. Because folks, I found out the hard way, if you overmix, there is another thing that this is good for. It is a laxative. It will get the job done quick. I've used it for many years. Toothpaste. Just take your toothbrush, wet it a little, stick it down in that baking soda, you're good to go. It makes a great toothpaste. But one thing that is really good for indigestion, fennel seed. Now, you just take it. It ain't the best tasting thing in the world, and I'll tell you exactly what it tastes just like to me. Black licorice. But it will help that indigestion, but don't just swallow it. Folks, anytime you have a raw product, whether it be like garlic or seeds or anything else, you've got to chew that to break all that down to get the enzymes and the nutrients out of it that you need. And my heartburn is gone already, Shannon. Well, folks, this time of year, and boy, it has got a hold of me and Shannon and probably all the United States, is that dry, hacking cough, and you just keep on coughing and coughing. All that old mucus is running down the back of your throat from sinus drainage. It is not a pleasant thing. It's not. Now, you get to thinking, and back before on Cowboy Cures before, the part 1 of it, we used an onion that we boiled in water with some cloves and some cinnamon, and then you just let it cool, put your head over it, cover it with a cup towel, breathe that in, it'll break all that up. But for a cough, I really like to make what? Make time to fix it. This kind of time. Now, I often buy a lot of thyme and it'll set in the ice box and then it'll dry out. Folks, that is prime time tea making product. And really I like to take about a good tablespoon of the leaves that's pulled over there, pour you some hot steaming water on there, let it steep for a minute, add you about a tablespoon of honey, because honey is also a great antibiotic. Stir that up. This will help ease that cough up, and it's going to break some of that mucus down in there, so it is really pleasant and pretty good tasting. There's some things that I have found out there on ranches that you just have to keep with you at all times. And I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Shan always carries this. Wherever we go, it's in a suitcase. It's always with us. So, but folks, milk of magnesia. Okay. Now, if any of you get mouth ulcers or canker sores, something like that, that's in your mouth right there, you just pour it right in the cap right there, and then you take it. Wherever it's at, just rub it on there. Do this 2 or 3 times a day. Another thing that's good for it, alum. Poke your little alum on there, it's going to dry that out even quicker. Let's talk about what? One of these guys wears a hat like me. What's his name? Quaker Oat. Yeah. But one thing that it is really good for, and that time of year is coming up pretty quick. Oh my gosh, Mage, the wind got it again. It is so good for mosquito bites, wasp bites, anything like that you got an insect bite. So to do this, all you really need is about a tablespoon of them good Quaker Oats. Mix your little hot water with it and just make it to where it's a paste. You can put that right on that bug bite, wrap it up with saran wrap, cover it with a towel, leave it on there. It really works well for any kind of bug bite. One thing, folks, that I found out too, and my brother is diabetic, and he's always telling me you got to keep them numbers down, keep that A1C down. Well, a thing that really helps him and thing that we love to eat more than anything in the summertime is just okra. Now, I'm not talking about breaded and fried it. I'm just talking about using a little olive oil, put it in the skillet, brown it up really good. Me and Shan eat it all the time, but it will help lower that A1C in a hurry. One thing that happens to me every once in a while, and I get it on occasion, and that is gout. Now, a gout is something that's really high in your body, that is uric acid, which is taking place, and it can be right painful. It even feels like a bed sheet weighs 70 pounds with stickers in it, it does. But I found something that really helps that, and I always go to it when I have a little battle with gout, and that is just straight cherries. I really like to go ahead and mash them up a little bit and then eat them, because I think you're going to get some more out of it than just chewing it. But if you'll eat you about, I'd say, 1/4 of a cup of cherries morning and night, it'll help you with that gout. I got to paying attention to these people that was on this Mediterranean diet for a while, and them folks is healthy. I mean, what is it really? Good, healthy oil, and that is good, healthy olive oil. I go over there to the cabinet, and I take me a little old shot of olive oil. Now, sure, you can use it to cook with, but there's a lot of times, folks, I'm not cooking. So I take about a tablespoonful every day. Really helps. It's good for your cholesterol. It is a great thing. Well, we thank y'all for stopping by and hope you really enjoyed these cookies, cures, and homemade remedies we are. Be sure and check out that first video, because, folks, there's a lot of great tips in it. There is. I want to always tell you too, there's a time and there's a place for real medicine. If you need to go to the doctor, I'm not telling you don't go. But folks, one of the best things that I think you can do to maybe prevent this before it ever gets so bad is with these natural remedies, these cures that have been passed down from generation to generation. I'm just telling you, these have been tried, tested, and true, and they always work for us. Everything we use today will be listed down there in the little links below. We thank y'all so much for watching. But it is with great pride and honor, and always a privilege, to salute all our servicemen and women and all the veterans who have kept that old flag a-flying over camp. Rest of you, come on in here. I'm gonna get you really good and close, because we're all healthy. We can hug tight. God bless you, each and every one, and I'll see you down the I'm Gonna Feel Better trail. Plus also Cowboy cooking, nope, there we go, and feeling better. Nature, I don't know why it's so hard. Getting better, staying better. What I can't remember Mother Nature.
I can't, you know what? I can't even hear you talk.
Can you not?
No.
Why?
Because of the wind.
Huh. Well, really, it's probably a blessing for you, ain't it?
Kind of nice. Just behind the scenes of the summer photo shoot. Okay, so I want you to act like, oh, you're just relaxing, you're like getting your tan, and then like be rubbing it on there. Oh!
We're going to use the rest of this tomato in a bologna sandwich.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are.
No.